What is going on, everybody? I go by the name of Curry, and I want to thank you guys for joining me here today on SneakerPhetish. Today, we're actually not talking about sneakers, but we are talking about something that we talk about a lot on this sneaker channel, and that's resale. Now, a while ago, I made a video called Resale 101, and I used the Air Jordan 1 Travis Scott as an example to discuss how things were going in the resale market. And these days, people in the sneaker market have shifted their focus to something a little bit bigger for a little bit bigger profits, and that is the PlayStation 5. Now, today I wanted to talk a little bit about the PlayStation 5, but before we get to that, I do want to talk a little bit about what in the world is going on with the PlayStation 5 right now, why they're selling for so much money, and I want to talk a little bit about why I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing that the PlayStation 5s are selling the way that they are right now. The PlayStation 5 was one of the most highly anticipated video game systems to come out in quite some time, and it seems like every time we get a new iteration of a new gaming system or a new generation of gaming, a new Xbox and a new PlayStation, the hype seems to grow just a little bit more. I remember when the PlayStation 4 dropped, that was a big deal. The Xbox One dropped, that was a big deal. But it just seems like it's a little more heightened these days, even with the growing retail price of these systems now. I mean, I purchased the PlayStation 4 Pro for $400, and now I'm here purchasing the PlayStation 5 for $500. But even at $500, I see a lot of people that have been really upset with the fact that people have been buying up these systems and selling them for much more money, upwards of $1,000 and sometimes even more money than that. But why is that happening? I want to make something really super crystal clear to everybody that's watching this today. The resale game is a buyer's market all the time. I tell people that all the time. It's not a seller's market. Sellers can ask whatever price they want to ask for a PlayStation or a knick-knack or a paddywhack, but at the end of the day, it's up to the buyer to actually pay the price. Everything is only worth what the buyer's willing to pay for it. So I see a lot of people upset at sellers for selling these systems, but in a lot of cases, like what I've been seeing on eBay, a lot of these sellers are just setting a bid and setting an auction, and the buyers are the ones that are driving up the prices of these things. So is it the seller's fault for offering it up for sale, or is it the buyer's fault for actually being willing to pay the astronomical prices that they're willing to pay for these things? Well, I take it back to the sneaker market because that's something that I know really well. And the classic idea of supply versus demand. Anytime you see a really hyped up limited edition sneaker come out and there's way less supply than there is demand on the sneaker, naturally what tends to happen is that people are willing to sell the sneaker for much more money. Now, people may want that sneaker for a different reason. It just depends on how badly they want it. And normally that desire is tied to something emotional. Sometimes I talk about buyer psychology out here and FOMO, right? That fear of missing out. And when it comes to a video game system, you tend to see a little bit of both. You have those nostalgic gamers that are loyal to a brand like Sony or Microsoft. They want to make sure that they have the newest, the hottest, the most technologically advanced so that they can keep on playing and stay on top of everything. But then you may also have those people that just straight up don't want to miss out on what's going on out here and they want to have it first. They're not willing to wait until next year or whenever to get the system when it may be a little cheaper. A lot of people have made mention of the fact that there should be enough systems to go around for everybody, and that may very well be the case. However, it's certainly not the case right now. And in typical reseller fashion, a lot of resellers are in it to make the quick flip. Now, some people have just done it very small scale. Some people have just taken a few PlayStation 5s, flip those for a little bit of money in order to get their own PlayStation 5 for free $99. I'm not mad at that. But then you also have a lot of people that use bots in order to get these PlayStation 5s from all of the websites. And if you're in the sneaker game like I'm in the sneaker game, you have fallen victim to bots buying up all the stock and clearing out websites time and time again. Now you see a lot more uproar because a lot of people that don't really buy sneakers like that are now feeling the effects of what bots are like with the PlayStation 5. And with the Xbox, but to me it feels like the Xbox is not quite as popular as the PlayStation 5. It feels like the PlayStation is selling for more money than the Xbox was selling for. Correct me if I'm wrong, sound off down below. Now I've also seen a lot of people really upset that people were buying up these systems, and I need you guys to understand something when it comes to resellers. Not all resellers are built the same. Let me break it down. There's a lot of resellers resellers out here that do what I call gambling that rent money. They gamble their money to try to make a little bit more money. And a lot of times it's because they've got bills to pay, they've got kids to feed, so on and so forth. So I've seen a lot of people upset talking about, well, these were a lot of kids' wishes for Christmas, and there's a lot of parents out here that were saving up just enough money in order to buy their child this game system for Christmas, this $500 game system for Christmas. But I need you guys to understand something, because we tend to kind of contradict ourselves when it comes to whatever the flavor of the month is. On the one hand, I see a lot of people talking about being financially responsible with their money. I see a lot of people talking about being smarter with their bills, being smarter with their credit, things of that nature, whenever that's the flavor of the month. But then I also see people talking about how parents are spending their very last dollar, their very last dime to buy this game system for their kids. Now listen, I'm gonna break it down and keep it really funky with you. If you're spending your very last dime on a $500 video game system, you probably shouldn't be buying that video game system. And if your kid is like I was when I was a child that didn't always get everything I wanted for Christmas, that's just a lesson that you don't always get everything that you want, because sometimes it's more important to have a roof over your head, or the bills paid, or food on the table, or clothes on your back than a $500 PlayStation 5. And I get it. I'm a parent. I understand that there can be this emotional pull that comes with looking in the face of your child and wanting to give them everything that they want in the world. But you know what? The world's a tough place. And a $500 game system, if I can't truly afford that, and if I'm not going to be able to continue to be comfortable with the quality of life that I'm living, spending that much money on a video game system, why would I buy it? Unless I buy it to resell it. A lot of people talk about, well, these parents were saving up the last of their money to get a PlayStation 5. To me, that's the perfect candidate for somebody that would also sell a PlayStation 5. Because if you buy a PlayStation 5, you sell it for double, you get $1,000 back, you go and buy a second PlayStation 5 for $500. Guess what? You didn't spend a dime. Now, that's really giving your child a Merry Christmas while not impacting your budget at the same time. So why would we not encourage that capitalism? Why would we not encourage that? Because I don't know if you guys realize it or not, but that's the society that we live in. It's an extremely capitalistic society. But I see, again, a lot of contradiction, a lot of double standards, because for a lot of people out here, it works for them. Capitalism works for them when they want it to work for them. But when they don't want it to work for them, or if it's for something that they don't really care about, then all of a sudden it's a bad thing. Guys, you gotta understand, when resell is life, and be it sneakers, PlayStation 5s, concert tickets, rare memorabilia, Pokemon cards, or whatever the case is, the idea is still the same. Buy low, sell high. Nothing else matters. There's a lot of people that are dogging out PlayStation 5 resellers right now that are willing to flip concert tickets. The thing about the sneaker world these days is that sneakers are so hard to get your hands on that you have to go through multiple ways in order to try to get your hands on a sneaker. So raffles, for instance, you got to enter into a whole bunch of raffles hoping that you get that one win. Now, what happens when you get more than one win? Well, at that point, you have the option whether to give them to somebody that you know, somebody you're close with, or help somebody out, get them for retail price, or you sell them for whatever the market is demanding on it. But as these items become harder and harder to get, the more valuable they become, you gotta be on your P's and Q's in order to get your hands on it. We love Kobe, we love Michael Jordan, we love all these great sports stars, and these guys are global superstars. But you know what these guys did? They went for everything every single year. You never saw Michael Jordan say, well, I won a couple of rings, maybe I should let somebody else get a couple of rings now because, I don't want to be too greedy. I've gotten my rings. No, you saw Michael Jordan going hard every single game, and he did not care about who was upset or who felt the way or who was having a rough day or who was having family problems, and maybe winning a basketball game would uplift their spirits a little bit more. He didn't care about any of that. He cared about winning, and we love that, and we encourage that, and we talk about Mamba mentality, and we talk about all of these things that in essence lead to us acting the way that we act out here. So which one is it? Do we want everything or do we not want everything? Do we want to spread it around so everybody can share the wealth? And that's how the resellers look at selling PlayStation 5s. They're trying to give their kids a very Merry Christmas as well. The way that they give their kids a very Merry Christmas is by making the money that they're making off of the PlayStation 5s that the buyers are willing to buy. So again, I don't understand that if the buyers are willing to buy these things at $900, $1,000 or more, Why in the world are we upset at people for selling it? If somebody's willing to buy it, why shouldn't there be somebody there willing to sell it? I don't understand. To me, it just has to do with lack of affordability, which is understandable because not everybody has $900 or $4,000 for an off-white Air Jordan 1. So I get the affordability issue, or it just may be, and if I can keep it 100, I'm gonna keep it 100. Maybe some of those people complaining about the resellers are actually a little bit upset that they're not able to get their hands on the PlayStation 5s and sell them themselves and make that money. I'm just saying. Whatever your reasoning is, I personally feel like the complaining about PlayStation 5 reselling needs to come to an end. At the end of the day, it's just a video game system. And if you want it that bad, you either got to get in the game and get in the queues and get on the websites and do what you got to do to get yourself one, or you got to pay the price for one right now, or you got to wait until they're sitting on shelves maybe sometime next year, which I'm sure that they eventually will and the resale will cool down. But for now, the holidays are coming up. Black Friday is coming up, Christmas is coming up, and we all know this is a very hot time of the year for a lot of items that a lot of people want. We did this with Tickle Me Elmos, we did this with Beanie Babies, we did this with Easy Bake Ovens, we did this with so many other items that were hot ticket items for Christmas, and the PlayStation 5 is no different. So, do I think that it's wrong to resell the PlayStation 5? No, I don't think it's wrong to resell the PlayStation 5 because again, it's a buyer's market. If enough people decide we're not paying $900 for a PlayStation 5 and you have all these sellers that are buying up all these things, because what you guys may or may not know is that a lot of times when sellers are buying big ticket items like that, they need to get them off for a lot of money very, very quickly. That can give you an advantage as a buyer to lowball the seller into selling at a lower price, because if you make them hold out, maybe they'll get a little bit antsy because they can't be without that $500 for too long. Again, it's a buyer's market. Now, the reason I can give away that kind of game is because at the end of the day, right now, especially for things like the PlayStation 5, the demand far outweighs whatever you might be able to do as far as pulling leverage as a buyer. If you don't want to buy at a certain price, chances are there's somebody else out there that's willing to pay that price. But as I say, you got to get right or you got to get left. And when it comes to the PlayStation, that's really what it is. I want you guys to have a very Merry Christmas. I want everybody that wants to get their hands on one of these big, beautiful machines, and I do mean big, this thing is ridiculously big. I want everybody to get their hands on it that wants it. I understand this is one of the most coveted items. I've even thought about doing a giveaway on the channel, and you know what? I think I might do a giveaway on the channel, but we're gonna need to be a little further along on the channel before we do the giveaway. So here's what I'm proposing to you guys. If we can get the channel to 20,000 subscribers for the 20,000 subscriber giveaway, I'm going to give away a PlayStation 5. Now, right now, while I'm making this video, we're somewhere around 15,000 subscribers, but we get it up to 20,000, I'm gonna do a giveaway for the PlayStation 5. You guys heard it here first. You have my word. When we hit 20K, we're gonna make that thing happen. So the faster we get there, the faster we give it away. But in the meantime, if you're one of the ones that's trying to get your hands on the PlayStation 5 and you find yourself having a really, really hard time, don't get too discouraged. Remember, one more tip before I go. You can always trade something for a PlayStation 5. And I've seen some very, very interesting trades for PlayStation 5s as well. It doesn't always have to be money. Now, that's one thing you guys need to understand about the resale market as well. Resellers, a lot of times, are willing to take interesting trades. I remember one time I saw somebody trade a dog for a pair of sneakers, which was very interesting. Now, like the title of the video implies, did I resell PlayStation 5s? Yeah, you better believe I did. I mean, it's just a no-brainer to me. Now, the math on what I did with PlayStation 5s is very, very simple. I didn't go crazy. I don't have a bot. I just got into the queue on the Sony websites and on different websites, and I just did what I had to do. I was able to get in fast enough, and so far, I purchased 3 PlayStation 5s. So it's simple math. The way that I did it, I bought 3 PlayStation 5s. That's a little over $1,500 retail price. I sold 2 of them at $1,000 a pop. That's $2,000. I made my $1,500 back, and then the third one was mine to keep. I got that one for free because I also made back the $500 retail price that it cost me for the third one. That's it. Now, I'm not trying to buy 20 PlayStation 5s and clear out all the shelves and anything like that. I'm not trying to do all that. But I knew that because this was an expensive game system, I needed to be a little smart to make sure that I didn't hit my pockets super hard. I buy sneakers all the time. So who's trying to also kick in another $500 if you don't have to in order to get the PlayStation 5. So that's personally how I did it. Now, if there's a problem with that, if you don't like that, if you feel like I'm part of the problem, I want you guys to sound off down below and let me know. But while you're sounding off and telling me why I'm a terrible person, number one, I want you to ask yourself, have you ever sold something that was worth more than what you paid for it, or that you sold more than what you paid for it? And number two, I want you to ask yourself, well, is the problem the seller selling for what they sold it for, or the buyer for what they bought it for? Because both times they were just listed on eBay and I started the bidding at a 99-cent bid with no reserve pricing on it. It could have sold for $10 and it would have sold for $10. So I put it on there for a 99-cent bid and I let the buyers have it out. And that's just where the bids ended up going. I didn't even establish a price for the PlayStation 5. So for people to say that PlayStation 5 sellers are part of the problem, I don't really see that, because theoretically my price for the PlayStation 5 was 99 cents. I'm just here giving the real game today from a real perspective, because I don't want anybody to come on here and act like they're not doing something than they're really doing. These game systems are expensive. So a lot of people are really just trying to buy and sell just a little bit in order to get their system for free if they can. That's what I did. I don't know what you guys did. That's all that I got for this video today. Hopefully you guys are able to get your hands on the PlayStation 5 if you really want to get it. Hopefully you guys are able to have a very Merry Christmas, a very happy holiday. And even if you don't get the PlayStation 5, don't worry about it. They are going to drop. They are going to come out sooner than later in a lot bigger quantities. So if you're not able to get your hands on it right now, don't worry about it. And if you don't want to pay the high price, that's okay. You don't have to have it right now. That's okay too. Have a little bit of patience. Patience is a virtue. Wait until they're a little bit cheaper. You'll be just fine. Now it's time for you guys to sound off down in the comments and let me know, first of all, what you guys think about the PlayStation 5 and what you think about people who are selling PlayStation 5s. And not only that, but people who are using bots to buy up a whole bunch of PlayStation 5s. Do you feel like there's a threshold when it comes to buying and selling PlayStation 5s that maybe one or two is okay, but buying 20 of them and selling them for crazy amounts of money is not okay? Do you think that there's a line that you cross as far as selling and reselling that makes it ridiculous or unacceptable, or is it all just bad? Sound up down below. Let me know. Of course, write down in the comments. Make sure that you click on that subscribe button so we can welcome you into the Sneaker Fetish family, to make sure you don't miss out on any more heat that comes through like this, because I guarantee you I got a lot more heat on the way. As always, I want to thank you guys for joining me here today on Sneaker Fetish, taking a look at this with me. I go by the name of Kari. This is the Sony PlayStation 5, and until next time, I'm out.